Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another Cars 3 Diecast review. Today, here we have the brand new deluxe Arvy. So let's start the review here with talking about how I got this guy. I want to thank Bailey Mays at Amaze and Boys Toys Co. for helping me out with getting Arvy and a bunch of other diecasts I'll be reviewing in the near future. I haven't really talked about their business in any other video before, so we're going to do a little introduction to them in this video because they will be a pretty big part of my channel going forward. So their eBay store is called Code May0. The link for it will be in the description below. It will later on be changed to the Amaze and Boys Toy Co. company name. Of course, they are in a process of creating their own website that is coming soon. They want to avoid eBay so they can lower the prices, which is always awesome. Also, their email address is in the description below, so if you want to contact them asking about a specific item, you can definitely do so. They have a very wide variety of stuff available for sale, anything really from 2006 all the way back then to present day. They have a lot more stuff that's actually not listed on eBay, so if you send in a question, they might actually have it and you'll be in luck. And they do ship worldwide, so if you don't live here in the United States, there's no need to worry. So thank you guys so much again, especially thank you, Bailey Mays. And now let's get into the review here of the package of Arvy. I am very excited for this diecast because, as you guys know, RVs are some of my favorite diecasts to collect from the Disney Cars and Planes line. So we'll definitely be doing a lot of comparisons here when I open Arvy up. So it does say deluxe right there. As always, the description reads, blindsided by a new generation of piston cut racers, Lightning McQueen finds himself suddenly pushed out of the sport he loves. To get back on top, he will need the help of a young race technician, inspiration from the late fabulous Hudson Hornet, and guidance from a few old friends along the way. And the card back here shows Arvy himself along with Mr. Drippy, who I will be reviewing very soon, thanks to Amaze and Boys Toys Co. as well. Now, Arvy and Mr. Drippy are in two cases that will be released to stores. They're not in stores just yet, but they will be pretty soon. The scheduled release date is sometime in August. So they're in case C and case D. The contents for both will be in the description below, but the contents between them are not that different. There's only one difference, and that is instead of Miss Fritter, it is Morgan Martin's the Super Chase in case D. So if you guys remember from when Cars 3 wasn't like on yet, and we just had Cars 1, Cars 2 releases, there would be like your basic case, and then there would be a twin case with the Super Chase. So case C is the normal case, case D is its twin with the Super Chase, which will be limited to 4,000 pieces. So yeah, I hopefully will be doing a review of him in the near future as well. So yeah, if you guys want to see the other contents, they're in the description below. Unfortunately, Mr. Drippy and Arvy are the only new ones in case C, and then for case D, you get those two, and Morgan Martin's add to the mix as well. So I will be right back with Arvy opened up. And actually, you know what, before we open him up, let's do a quick comparison to the Crazy 8 Crasher Arvy that I picked up last month. So it's actually quite a bit bigger, as you can see. Now, I picked Arvy up here from this line because I just could not wait for the diecast. And this thing's pretty awesome. It makes a nice display because it's set up here on the cardboard with the dirt in the background. And it's actually pretty cool looking. As you can see there, he's got that nice, happy, just going crazy expression, but definitely a little bit bigger. And it's also plastic versus metal, and there's like that thing on the bottom, so it kind of like winds up. I've never reviewed a Crazy 8 Crasher before, but I will in the near future when I review that playset back there with Miss Fritter and the Crazy 8 Crasher at Lightning McQueen. Now I know I keep saying in the near future, but it's true guys, there's a lot to come in the next couple weeks here on my channel, so I hope you guys are excited. Now it's time to crack Arvy up. here is Arvy all opened up, and do you guys think he's cracking up right there? I meant to say cracked open, but for some reason I just said cracked up because, I don't know, I'm in a funny mood I guess, but it does look like he could be cracking up right now. But anyway, let's start here with his appearance in Cars 3. So, a brand new character for the third installment in the Cars franchise. He is one of the contenders in the Demolition Derby, and he's actually one of the better ones because he's one of the biggest. I guess that's kind of how it works. If you're bigger, you're better because you can take more hits and smash more cars. So the three main stars of the Demolition Derby, as I'm sure you guys know, are Miss Fritter, Arvy, of course, himself, and Dr. Damage. If you'd like to see my review of Miss Fritter and Dr. Damage, they will be down in the description below. The links will, that is. So, this is the third and final piece to the little trio we got going on here. I'll put some pictures on the screen of Arvy and the three of them from the movie. I don't think we've seen too much of him in trailers, but I'm sure if you guys saw the movie, you remember him because he did have some speaking lines, which was awesome to see. But other than that, he was just a little contender in there. As for his releases, of course he's being released as a deluxe right about now or in a couple weeks, and then he will be released in a 3-pack. I don't quite remember the other cars in the pack, so I'll put a picture of it on the screen. All of the 3-packs except for the one with Chick Hicks, Mack, and Lightning McQueen will be Demolition Derby based. So just so you guys know that, the next one will be Miss Fritter, Cruz Ramirez as Francis Belline, and Sigler, and then we have a bunch more coming after that. Now, the stores never really ordered 3-packs, like they never really have 3-packs. Only the oddball stores like Kmart's and Kohl's have 3-packs, so I don't really see a bright future for the line, so that's why I'm happy that none of the cars in the 3-packs are exclusives. And now let's get on with the review here of the actual physical diecast. So right off the bat, I have to say I love the expression. I love that smile. I love the eyes. Of course, he has the blackness around the eyes. Maybe trying to symbolize that he has just been hit and punched so much that now he just has permanent black eyes there. So I guess that's pretty interesting. I also find his nose ring here pretty interesting as well. Although from what I remember in the movie, it was a darker gray or something like that. Not bright orange and green. They're kind of like silly bands or some sort of colored rubber bands that he's got in there stuck in his grill. But I like how they shaded it so it looks like 3D. And it's also textured that way so it kind of comes up there on the ridge. He has like the horizontal grill right here and what looks to be like vertical grills over here as well, but I'm sure those are like some other things that he painted on or put on himself there. Of course, there he has his eyes. Definitely looks like he has chipped some teeth and is missing some teeth as well. And he also has this like mouth painted around him where he has like fake teeth that are very blocky. You guys can see that. So just so weird on this guy, and that's why I like him. Is he a psychopath? Quite possibly. I feel like in the movie, every time he hit something, he got happier and just more crazy. So whatever, Arvy, you do you. I also like the dirt detailing down here as well, making it realistic for the Demolition Derby. However, he doesn't have any mud, which makes it unrealistic because he definitely should. I like the side view mirrors. They are plastic extra pieces that stick in there. Be careful with them though because they could break off. I like how his tires are spray painted white a little bit, similar to all the other Demolition Derby cars. Of course, the back tires here are a little bit fainter though than the front ones, and same thing here on the other side. I like the double circle black thing going on here, and the green, kind of like snot green almost in the background, just gives him a very unique, weird, crazy look, and I like that. I don't know if he was trying to replicate the black around his eyes, the black eyes there. If those even are black eyes, maybe he just for some reason painted his eyes black, like face paint or something like that, and that just became his main theme, his logo. Whatever it is, I like it. It looks pretty cool, and it will definitely make him stand out in the long run. Now, other than that, there's not much here on the sides because everything's pretty much covered up. You can see that he has boarded up a window, and that's not just painted on. You can feel the texture of that there. There's also some sort of like grate right there leading in, or like a vent. You can see it there with the texture. Moving on to the back now, he has the two black circles and a spare tire with some decals on the cover for it. Let's check it out. It looks like we have some mountains over there on the top left. And then it says Carsa, or is it Carga? I can't quite tell. I think it actually might be Carga with a tropical tree right there. It says caution there in yellow down toward the bottom, but I can't read the text below it. I don't think. Maybe if I put it up to my nose here, my eyes, I can read it. Oh, guys, I just saw an awesome Easter egg on here. There's a Monsters University tag right there. MU. Look at that. You could see the I for the monster there in the M. MU. That is awesome. Wow, I have not heard anyone talking about that yet, so maybe I'm the first to discover it, but either way, that's pretty awesome. You know what? Since the Crazy 8 Crasher version here is bigger, maybe we can take a look at the tires or the decals on that one and do a comparison here. Well, unfortunately, this is lesser quality. It looks like the decals were printed off at a much lower resolution than on the actual diecast, so yep, that's not going to help us at all. But let's get back to this here. That is awesome. I think we could definitely see the Monsters University tag below the mountains there. That is so cool. All right, this one here says honk if your horn works. That's pretty funny. That looks like some penguins. It looks like penguins, but yeah, I can't quite tell with that one. I can't quite tell what the center one is either. Can't quite tell what this one is either. Come on. I just can't read it there. And then we have another one over here, which definitely looks to be a plane flying over some sort of like rocky formation. But, you know, we got the important ones like that Monsters University one there and the Carga. Those are really, really cool. He also has some lights here on the back, but they seem to be knocked out. Also, if you notice that his back is like pushed in really, really far because of probably all the times that he's been hit from behind, that just pushes him in more. He has the exhaust pipe popping out there toward the bottom. Here's the base if you're interested. Now, one thing I really do like about Arvy is that this side is different from the other side. You can definitely see that here from looking at the base. He has the step right here as if it was like for humans to jump in and take a journey, but of course, since it's for cars, that step is rather unnecessary. Also, if you look here, the board is a lot bigger than over here. A little bit different layout as well. There's probably a little bit more green. It seems to be a little bit more highly concentrated green over here. There's like a gray splatter there as well. So they are slightly different. On the top here, I like the vent there. Very, very cool. A definitely necessary detail. And he's kind of like rigid up here because I'm sure he's been hit from the top and everything. So he is really dented in like every way possible except for the front. The front looks pretty good and maintained its shape and all, but the back seems to have had the most, I don't know, trouble because it keeps getting like dented and pushed in. So that's all for Arvy. Now it's time to do a lot of comparisons. Let's just start here with the other Demolition Derby cars. We'll just quickly go around here and compare them because they're not the same model or anything, but they are very closely related in the movie, of course. A lot of people will be associating these three, Miss Fritter, Dr. Damage, and Arvy all together as the years go on. They'll be like the big Demolition Derby cars, along with Mr. Drippy, but he didn't really participate. He's more of a staff member. Here is Miss Fritter, and I think they're all scaled very properly. Like, we know Miss Fritter is accurate to the movie in size because she's accurate to McQueen here, and we know McQueen is accurate. And we've seen side-by-side pictures of Miss Fritter with Arvy and Dr. Damage, and as diecast, they seem to mirror that pretty perfectly. Some people have been saying that Dr. Damage is too small. I don't know about that. I think he's the right size. Now, maybe he's smaller because he's not like a functioning operating ambulance. He's just, you know, the dented one that goes and, you know, uses his bigger size to his advantage at the Demolition Derby instead of saving people's or cars' lives. But yeah, I think they're all in scale just fine. Now, I think the RV that is most similar here to Arvy is Winnie from Disney Planes Fire and Rescue. Winnie is a little bit bigger than Arvy, and I think Arvy is the smallest RV Mattel has ever released. And I think it all makes sense for him to be that, and therefore it makes sense for Winnie to be a little bit larger. I just feel like their models are the most similar in shape, you know, with the front end here obtruding a little bit and then dipping back down. However, they are pretty different. No windows on Arvy, they're all boarded up. There's only like one air vent up here, whereas there are a couple on Winnie, along with the roof rack, which is absent on Arvy. However, on the back here though, they both have spare tires along with the lights there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Here are the bases if you're interested. Winnie was one of my all-time favorite planes releases. It's so sad that that line is now over. At least it seems like it's over. They haven't released a new diecast in well over a year. But anyway, moving on now. Here we have Winnie's husband, Arvy, who is a little bit different model of an RV. And I feel like they always make the names of the RVs sound like RV. Of course, RV, like A-R-V-Y, is exactly RV, like when it's pronounced. And then we have Harvey here, so just way too much. Mattel just call them John or something. I'm just getting myself so confused. But anyway, just a quick little comparison here. We'll just be doing some 360s with all of these RVs that I showed today, by the way. 2 spare tires there. But yeah, there are so many. I'm literally going to compare, I think, all of them. I think I brought out all of them. Here's Super Chase Bud, who's a lot bigger. But I feel like they are still kind of similar, although he is the first one today with a no spare tire. He probably is big enough to store it inside or maybe beneath him, but Mattel did not actually put that on there. Let's move on to the next one that I think is the most similar. Probably would be, what do you guys think? I don't know. This one's a lot more similar to Harvey. This is the K brother from the Convoy Brothers. See how like they obtrude here and then it goes in for the eyes / windshield and then it comes back out again for the grill. But anyway, kind of similar. These are some of my favorite RVs coming up now. We have the Convoy Brothers, which was the 2013 D23 exclusive. Oh no, is that a chip I see right there? Okay, I'm just going to ignore that. Pretend it's not there, RC Cars 5. Pretend it's not there. Going in alphabetical order here, we have I. Actually, we're not going in alphabetical order. We're going in the order of what's supposed to spell out, which is King. Now, I is pretty different here. These are like huge RVs, whereas RV himself is quite a bit smaller. Here we have N coming up now, who is kind of similar because he has that obtruding front end, but it's just a little bit different on him. He does have a spare tire there in the back. It seems like he's been like dented in, but it's meant to be that way, whereas RV, it's not meant to be that way at all. It's supposed to be pretty straight there on the outside. And last but not least is G. The poor guy only got 2 flags to hold on to. Poor guy, but at least he gets to stick his tongue out. Now, I did just do my video on the 2017 D23 exclusive, which was the Cozy Cone alarm clock. By the way, here is Elvis. That was an awesome exclusive in my opinion. And it seems like they broke the trend of having the D23 exclusive being like RVs, because before, in 2015, it was Albert Hinky, which we'll get to here in a couple moments. And obviously, before that was the Convoy Brothers. Here is the 2015 release of Doug RM. But yeah, I just would have liked to seen maybe Sid Vanderkamper or Clayton Gentlebreeze instead, because that would really complete like all of the canceled cars from 2010, especially the RVs. But, you know, they took a different route, and I feel like it was cool. But yeah, there were definitely some things that I would have preferred maybe in the future, though. Maybe in the future. Do you guys think that D23 will become an annual thing just because it's becoming so popular now? I would not be surprised if it became an annual type of deal, just because of how popular it is and how big Disney is growing with all of their like side companies like Marvel and ESPN and etc. etc. Here's Barry Diesel, and that last one was Larry Camper. Just thought I'd kind of talk about something random while we're just doing these 360s here. Spare tires there. Now, this guy's pretty huge, but if you think he is huge, then you have no idea what's coming, because we have Albert Hinky now. I was just examining something on him. I Thought I saw a chip, but I think we're good. Yeah, this is not really even a comparison anymore because they are so different. But, you know, that'll do it for you guys. This is what I do. I compare and I review. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. That concludes the review here of Arvy. Let me know in the comment section below which out of these three is your favorite. Miss Fritter, Arvy, or Dr. Damage. My favorite on any other day would be Miss Fritter, but since I just got Arvy today, he's my favorite. So, thank you guys again for watching, and thanks Bailey Mays at Amaze and Boys Toys Co. for helping me out with these diecasts, of course, along with Mr. Drippy. And I will preview guys the other one that I got from them, Sig Alert. So my review of him will be coming out in the near future as well. Look forward to that. Lots of Demolition Derby stuff going on. In fact, all these cards are Demolition Derby. We had Mr. Drippy, Arvy, and Sig Alert there. So we'll put Francis Beltline and Chester Whipple Filter off to the side here, and Arvy can pull up. Very, very nice. I like that. Alright guys, I will see you next time for another video. Bye now!